Sometimes the bravest thing a person can do is say no. My husband has stage 4 metastatic, castrate resistant prostate cancer, and he is not doing chemotherapy. He has refused the treatment. In today's video, I'm going to share why and also share what this journey has taught us about fear, pressure, personal choices, and trusting your own instincts. Stay tuned. Hi, and welcome to my channel. Thank you for being here. Today is part 2 to a video I did last week called My Body, My Rules. You know, as I've gotten older, I really have come to the understanding that nobody cares more about your body than you do. Doctors can advise you, family can give opinions or put pressure on you to do certain things. Your friends may want to add their 2 cents in, but the bottom line is these kind of decisions are yours to make, and you are the one that has to live with the consequences of those decisions. Now, of course, this video is not medical advice. I am simply sharing our personal experience and our personal beliefs. When my husband was diagnosed with prostate cancer, oh gosh, 11 years ago, they had to remove the prostate and some lymph nodes and other things, and we knew that it was going to be an ongoing battle. Thank the Lord, he has fought this battle for 11 years and has been through other surgeries because of it. And praise God even more because he feels good. He looks good. It really didn't change his life. I mean, it did in some ways, but he's never been like bedridden, sick, couldn't do what he wanted to do, couldn't enjoy his life, etc. So he has done fantastic for 11 years. But his cancer journey forced us to ask many questions. One of them is all treatments good for all people? When do you draw the line? Where do you draw the line? What do you consider? Are more treatments better or are they worse? There's just a whole host of questions that come up and run through your mind that you really have to address. The biggest question for Dave was, does he want quality of life or quantity? Because very rarely can you get both. He wants quality. And that's what we are going after. Now, I know many of you don't trust the medical system. You know I don't either. And we've talked about how so many people are over medicated, over tested, and just have one appointment after another to the point where your senior life is spent going to doctor's offices. And that's not the way most of us want to live. This video in no way is telling anyone what they should do. This video is telling you that you are allowed to have critical thinking, that you are allowed to look at your whole situation and make decisions that are best for you and your family. When Dave had his original surgery to remove the prostate and lymph nodes and other things, of course, you're bombarded with all the talk about treatments. It comes fast, it's ongoing, and it's very overwhelming. And in the beginning, 11 years ago, he did do some things. He did do radiation for 7 weeks, 5 days a week. He has taken different medications. They're chemotherapy pills, and he takes that along with prednisone because it does all kind of weird things to your body. And he did those until they stopped working. You know, sometimes things can work real well and then all of a sudden they stop because the cancer outsmarts the chemotherapy pills. He didn't have problems on the chemotherapy pills, and it didn't alter his life in any way, shape, or form. Eventually, they run out of things for you to do. They have nothing else that they can give him. He's run the gamut. I also think they play on people's emotions because you're highly emotional and you have to act immediately. I mean, they want to start these treatments immediately, and you don't even have time to think. And unfortunately, because it is so fear based, that people just buckle and do what they say. It's okay to allow yourself the time to research it, think about it, and make the decisions that you want to make for yourself. Now, last February in 2025, so that was what, 15 months ago, when the oncologist said, okay, you know, we're out of options, the cancer is spreading, and there's nothing we can do. There's nothing else that's specific to prostate cancer. She did recommend that he do a chemotherapy through infusion. Now, this chemotherapy was not specific for prostate cancer, but in hopes that it may slow things down. So it was like a chemo cocktail, but it was very strong stuff. And she said that that would buy him about 17 months. But she was honest enough to tell us that for those 17 months, he would be sick. He would most likely be bedridden because he was sick. He would lose a lot of weight, he would throw up, he would lose his appetite. So he really couldn't live his life. And that was just a no go. He refused that treatment. He said he was not going to do that because he wants quality over quantity. Now, when you think about it, and this is the whole point of this video, if he had agreed and thought, oh my gosh, they're out of options, there's nothing they can give me to fight this cancer, the game is over, nothing left to do. But they could give me this chemo that isn't specific to my cancer, and hey, I'd have 17 more months because of it. Well, 17 months of laying in bed, 17 months of not enjoying your life, 17 months of being sick and throwing up and all that stuff. If he had taken that, because that was 15 months ago, I think he'd be dead. I don't think he would be here right now. And who would want to live like that? That's not living. That's just not dying. I mean, you're just existing, a body laying in a bed, miserable, hoping that you would die because of the way you feel. And that just didn't make sense to him or me. So he passed on that treatment, and oh my gosh, 15 months have gone by. He's been fine. He feels fine. He looks fine. He eats good. He sleeps good. And he has enjoyed his life. He has done all the things that he likes to do on a daily basis, and he's happy. So then this past February, just three and a half months ago, they said, oh, you know, tumors are growing because he gets PET scans and full body scans and nuclear scans and blood work and all that every 3 months. And so they said, well, things are progressing and all that. We do have something you could try. It's now approved. It's called Pluvicto. It is a liquid radiation infusion. So he would go in, get an infusion of the liquid radiation every 6 weeks for 6 treatments. So that would take up about 8 months. And they said that may arrest it for a while and slow the progression down. But there are a lot of side effects. Of course, they pump it up like, oh, wow, this is going to be great for you. We did our own research. That stuff is dangerous. The side effects were unbelievable. He would be so radioactive that he could not live in the house with me for 3 days after each treatment because he would be so radioactive. So we can't be in the same house. We couldn't use the same bathroom. We couldn't sleep in the same bed. I mean, look what that does to your life. And if you feel like you want quality of life, you want to spend time with the people that you love, why would you make that choice? Plus, to have all the other side effects. And so I continued to research and found out that if he did that treatment, it would give him 4 additional months of life. 4 months. To go through that, to be that sick, to be that filled with liquid radiation, imagine what that would do to your body. So when we met with the oncologist and said, no way, not doing it, I asked the oncologist. I told him I researched this thoroughly. And is it true that this buys you 4 additional months of life? And he said, yes. But they won't tell you that up front. They're not going to tell you that at all. They're going to say, oh, maybe, we can really get this under control if he does this. They're not going to tell you the other stuff. What a crappy thing to do. So thank God we researched it and he did not do it. So now here we are, May of 2026. The tumors are growing. He has one in his ilium, which I call it the hip, the right hip, but it's the ilium bone at the top of the hip. He has one in his spine in L3. Those two are very active and very aggressive. And the reason that he has it in his bones now is the prostate cancer metastasized to the bones, which I guess it normally does. Upon PET scans and body scans and everything, we found out recently he has other tumors in his body. One here, a couple in his upper back, couple ribs, the pelvis, different areas. But those tumors right now are not active. And that's just miraculous. There are lymph nodes involved in this area, like from under your chest to like the groin. I believe they call that the retroperineum. I might be pronouncing it wrong, but there are lymph nodes there, and 2 of them are big and they lit up and all that. They can't do a whole lot about that. So I asked the doctor when we told him, no, no Pluvicto, forget it. And he basically just said, well, you can look into a trial or something like that, which Dave has done. And that's pretty much it. So I said to the guy, okay, so tell me what's next. There's no treatments, nothing else you all can do, or nothing new has come up, and he's not doing that deadly chemo. So what's next? Are we looking at hospice? Having to get hospice to come in when the pain starts, because the pain will start. Bone cancer is very painful. And thank God He has a little bit in his right hip, but nothing to, stop him from enjoying his life. And he said, well, no, we don't need hospice, yes, but yeah, that would be the next thing, to give you the drugs to mitigate the pain. And I said, so there's nothing else. How about some kind of radiation? And he said, well, yeah, you can do radiation. He said it would be stereotactic radiation, which is different than the regular radiation. So the stereotactic is more powerful, more targeted. He would get 3 treatments on one tumor, and then that would be it for that tumor. Where regular radiation, you're going 5 days a week for 7 weeks. So he has decided to do that. Now, what that will do is shrink, well, actually, it will destroy the tumor because it's very targeted. But that does not prevent other tumors from showing up in the bones, but it will kill that one, and he won't have to deal with the pain in that right hip. He's also going to get one treatment of that on his L3, lower spine. And then he'll continue to be scanned as more tumors are developing. You can't radiate your entire body, but it's something for now, something that Dave can live with and has chosen, and he's just going to go with that. Dave and I have both watched people, family members, suffer through treatments, through chemotherapy, through loss of appetite and drastic weight loss, and just basically laying in a bed or on a couch until their final day. And he doesn't want that for himself, and I don't want that for him. Medicine is not a one size fits all, and every person has to make their own individual choice whether they want to take medications, get tests, take these treatments for cancer, and all the things. That is your personal choice, and everybody has the right to make the one that best works for them. For Dave and I, our belief is even if a chemotherapy or one of these other treatments can slow something down, maybe slow down the growth of the tumors or the activity of the cancer, they damage everything else. You know, it's poison. It's going to damage your other organs. So again, it's like, here's the treatment, just like in the doctor's office, here's the pill, but look at all the side effects and the problems that it causes. So it's the same way that Dave views and I view chemo and these drastic treatments for things like cancer. Sometimes the cure is more deadly than the disease. When you're faced with making these decisions about your health, there's a lot of fear around that. And I believe they promote the fear, they push the fear because they want you to do the treatments. And, talk about informed consent. Well, you have the right to inform yourself on the whole picture, not the pretty picture that they paint for you, but the whole picture, so that you can make a good decision. Sometimes it feels like there's only one acceptable answer, and that's the one the doctor is telling you to make. And you don't have to do that. You have to have an answer that is acceptable to you. Now, Maybe if you're younger, you would view things in a different way. I'm just talking about Dave's experience and my experience along with him. We have led good lives. We are happy. We have joy in our lives. We love our life. And we're grateful for each and every day that we have together. Sometimes death is not the worst thing. That's really something to think about when you let that sink in. Death is not the worst thing that can happen. Cancer has a way of really stripping things down to what really matters in life and how you want to live out the rest of your life. So, whether you agree or disagree with this, that's not the point. We all have the freedom to make our own choices. And sometimes freedom is all that we have left. I know with that last video and the comments, oh my goodness, so many of you feel the way that I do about the medical establishment today, the over testing, the over medicated, and all the things. So many of you feel the same way. You feel like you're being, bombarded with this stuff. You feel like you're made to feel bad, like a bad person, if you refuse to take the medication they're dishing out, or if you refuse to do treatments that they want you to do. You don't have to feel bad about anything. Feel proud of yourself for standing up for yourself, for taking the time to research what you need to research, for giving yourself the opportunity to decide how you want to live out the rest of your years. Sometimes it just comes down to acceptance and, of course, your attitude and your mindset. Dave and I both believe, we're all going to die of something. We don't know what it is, but whatever it is, that's our sign that it's our time to exit this world. I'm not going to interfere and try to control it or do something about it or any of that stuff. I know when I'm called to go home, that's when I'm going to go. I can't control anything. I can't make something go away or make something get better or any of that. I'm not in control. And Dave knows he isn't either. Only God is in control. Living with a grateful heart goes a long way when you're dealing with a sickness or an illness or something terminal. Being grateful for every extra minute that you have, that really matters to people. So let me know if you've experienced anything like this, maybe for yourself or a loved one, where they're faced with a terminal diagnosis and, they're pumping all these treatments, poisonous chemicals and things, and you're so overwhelmed and bombarded and scared to death that you just kind of fall into that. And maybe it's what you want, and maybe it isn't what you want. All I can say is we each have to make our own decisions for what's right for us. Okay, for those of you that don't know, this is my beloved Dave, my husband.
Hi, everyone.
I brought him in so you can see. He looks healthy. He doesn't look sick to me. Does he look sick to you? No. But so much of that is because of his belief and his attitude, his mindset, and his trust and faith in God.
Amen.
So here he sits. Dave, I've kind of gone over things and just told where you're at and what you've been through and how you feel about treatments and the poison, the chemo. Is there anything you would like to add or give your point of view as far as, refusing the treatments?
Hmm.
What would you like to say, if anything?
Well, I think it's just more of what you had said earlier.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I believe in quality of life, not quantity.
Yeah,
I believe that God will determine when my last day here is.
exactly.
And the chemo that they wanted to do,
Yeah.
and also the Pluvicto,
Mm-hmm.
it was to me was a death sentence.
Yes.
I mean, I just never could understand it, and I still can't. There's not a whole lot out there right now available except for trials, and we already
Right.
tried that route. So I'm feeling fantastic. I'm eating, I'm sleeping well. I really don't have any pain.
No? Not?
And, it's just weird. People all keep saying, I have cancer, I have cancer. And the scans prove it,
Yeah.
but I don't feel anything. And I still feel like I'm healthy. So I'm just going to keep on keeping on.
That's the right
That's it.
attitude. And again, I still say mindset and attitude is everything. Because for
I
someone
agree.
to be diagnosed with stage 4 prostate cancer 11 years ago
Yeah.
and go through everything that you've been through, and yet here you are, happy, looking good. I mean, people would think I'm making it up that you have cancer because there's nothing about you that shows it.
Yeah.
But again, your mindset has so much to do with that. You have to believe, you have to give up control like you can control things because you can't. You have to place your trust in God and you have to make your own decisions and do not allow yourself to be bullied into anything that you don't want to do.
Absolutely. That's the part that was so ridiculous about all of it.
Yeah.
I mean, like I said, and I'm not exaggerating, based on what they were saying with the chemo,
Hmm.
traditional infusion chemo,
Right.
and Pluvicto, I would not be here right now at
No.
all.
No, you would not be.
And we just had family here. Well, gosh, a lot of family the last couple of weeks.
Yeah.
And I was able to have fun, go out with them.
Yes.
You know, it's just it's just so hard to understand. It really truly is.
It is. And, our grandkids visit us all the time, more than our kids do.
That's true.
And just in the last week and a half to 2 weeks,
Yeah.
our granddaughter came. She brought a friend with her. She was here for a week. Our grandson Tristan, who got married in March, him and his wife were here for 5 days. Our other grandson Noah and his girlfriend came, and they were here for 10 days. And we just had a blast. Dave got
Always.
to do so much with them.
Yes.
Because they're adults, so they can hang out together and really relate to each other, and it's just wonderful. Who would give that up?
And I think for all of us, you have to have an advocate.
Yes.
And mine is sitting right here. She
Yeah.
has refused to just accept what they keep trying to throw at us.
Hmm.
And she's just like, oh no, no, we're not doing that.
Yeah.
And she researches everything.
Yes.
She's amazing, guys. She truly is. She's just amazing. And
Well.
she's my angel.
Well, it's my pleasure.
Thank you.
And if you want, before we end this little clip, we can ask for prayers.
Oh,
Prayers, best medicine.
ever.
So between prayers and your attitude, that's a winning combination.
Amen.
So any prayers that you
Yes.
want to lift up?
I would love that, guys.
Yeah.
Any
We'll
and
take
all.
them. Yes.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
I know I'm not the one that has the cancer. Dave does. But I also know that he feels like I do. That something is going to take our life, all of us. And if the cancer takes his, there's nothing he can do about that. It's out of his control. Just like if a heart attack takes mine, that's just the way that it is. But I would rather die of the cancer or the heart attack or whatever the problem was than die of poison, than die of these chemicals being pumped into me. And that's how Dave feels. He doesn't want to die from the cure. He'd rather die from the disease. And I hope that makes sense. I mean, to me, you don't have a choice when you are diagnosed with something. You don't get to pick what you're going to be diagnosed with and what may eventually take your life. But taking poisonous chemicals that go in and destroy other things in your body is to me like suicide. It's like committing suicide because you have to okay that. You have to sign off on that. You have to allow them to put that chemotherapy and chemicals in you. And as seniors, we're way beyond that. Again, it could be totally different for younger people, and I get that. But for Dave and for myself, that's where we stand, and we stand firm. Let me move on and leave you an inside beauty tip. My inside beauty tip comes from Philippians 4:7. And the peace of God, which surpasses all understanding, shall keep your hearts and minds. And that's exactly what it is. I can't put it into words the way I feel it. And I know Dave can't either. But when you're at peace about the decisions that you make for yourself, you can't even understand it. But it's real. I don't believe you can have peace when somebody else is calling the shots, when somebody else is making the decisions for you, when somebody else is bullying you or fearing you into doing something, or you're done, you're just out of here. Like I said earlier, thank the Lord Dave didn't take that chemo from 15 months ago. Look at all the life he would have missed out on. He would have been spending these last 15 months in bed, sick, losing weight, no appetite, and certainly he would be gone by now. Jesus said, "My peace I leave you, my peace I give to you, not as the world gives you." Why would we not take that peace? When you're dealing with a terminal illness, what a gift that is. I mean, with all you're having to go through, to be able to have peace is the best, by far, the best medicine that you could ever have. I thank you so much for being here. I truly do appreciate it. And until we meet again, this is the old girl signing out. See ya.